Have you ever stopped to think about how the life of a man and a woman can be completely different? Most people assume everyone has the same amount of time to achieve their goals, but in reality, men and women experience their journeys in very distinct ways. When you're young, everything seems to revolve around appearance, youth, and early achievements. But guess what? A man's story begins much later than you might think, and the real magic happens after 30. I know, you might be thinking, but everyone says the best years are in your youth, in your 20s. It's true that youth has its own charm, but the real adventure starts later, when we learn to face life's challenges, work hard, understand ourselves, and build something lasting. Let me tell you a story. Imagine you're at the beginning of your journey, still immature, full of dreams, but unsure of how to achieve them. In those early years, life seems easier for others, especially for women, who can achieve so much with just a smile. But for you, the story is different. You have to sweat, fail, learn, and persist. Sounds tough, doesn't it? And it is. But that's exactly where the secret lies. The years will pass, and instead of worrying about what you don't have now, the key is to focus on what you can create. Because, just like wine that gets better with time, a man also matures, becoming more valuable, stronger, wiser, and most importantly, more prepared to conquer what once seemed impossible. Once you understand this, you'll realize that the best phase of your life is just ahead. Now, join me as we explore how a man's life truly begins at 30 and how you can prepare to live your best version. I'll explain it in 10 key points. I know this might sound like a well-kept secret, but trust me, this journey is far more rewarding than any quick or momentary achievement. Let's uncover how you can turn every mistake into a lesson and every challenge into an opportunity to shine like never before. So, let's dive into the first topic. But before we start, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Here, in the upcoming videos, we'll be presenting a series of content that will help you improve your life in various aspects. First topic: men and women have different timelines in life. Imagine life as a long relay race, but with different rules for men and women. When a girl turns 18, it's as if she's running with the wind at her back. The world seems to conspire to make things easier for her. She can go out, make friends, get noticed effortlessly, and even travel without much struggle. It's like she's been handed a VIP pass to enjoy numerous opportunities. Now, picture an 18-year-old young man. He's also in the race, but his path is steeper. He may feel invisible, as if he's just another face in the crowd. It's natural to feel frustrated, or even demotivated when you look around and see how easy things seem for girls of the same age. But here's the secret: men's race has a different pace. While women start shining earlier, men are preparing for something much greater down the road. Think of a great tree. In the beginning, when it's just a seed, no one pays much attention. It's there, underground, struggling to grow. But one day, after much time and effort, it becomes immense, full of fruit and shade, and everyone begins to admire it. That's how life is for men. During the early years, you're growing, learning, and strengthening. It may seem like nothing is happening, but in reality, you're building roots. And do you know why this is amazing? Because when a man's success arrives, it's not fleeting. It's built with effort, patience, and dedication. So, if you're a young man feeling like your time will never come, remember, your race is a marathon, not a sprint. Every step you take now, even if it seems small, is preparing you for something big. And when your time comes, the spotlight will be all yours, and it will last much longer than you imagine. Second topic: gaining value versus building value. Would you agree that life is like a big game? Women start with a special advantage. They enter the game with a lot of points just for being there. This happens because society values their youth and beauty. So many doors open for them without much effort at the beginning. Now, think about men. They don't get those free points at the start of the game. They start from zero. To achieve anything, they must build it all themselves. Experience, knowledge, strength, courage. It may seem unfair, right? But let me tell you why this is actually a good thing. Imagine two characters in a video game. One starts with all the superpowers unlocked. They can fly, they're strong, they can defeat any enemy without much effort. At first, it's super fun, but as the game progresses, they stop learning anything new because they already have everything they need. Eventually, they lose the challenge and the thrill. The other character, however, starts weak. They need to train, fight, lose multiple times. But with every victory, they gain a new skill. Over time, they become stronger and more prepared than they ever imagined. In the end, they are the ones with the most tools, the most strength, and the ability to face any challenge. And the best part? They never stop growing. This is exactly how it is for men. Building your value takes work, but it makes it far more solid and enduring. While women's initial advantage may diminish over time, the value men build only increases because it was earned through effort. So, the next time you think life is easier for women, remember this game. Building something from scratch may be challenging, but it's what makes you a true winner. Your value is like a house you construct with your own hands. It's solid, resilient, and no one can take it away from you. Third topic, women's time is short, men's time is long. Imagine life as a burning candle. For women, this candle begins to shine brightly early on, illuminating everything around them. They have youth, beauty, and an energy that naturally draws people in. But what many don't realize is that this candle burns faster. As the years pass, the light starts to dim, and many women begin to feel anxious as they approach their 30s, knowing that society places significant value on their youth. Now, compare this to men's candle. When it's lit, it starts small, with a weak and timid flame. At first, almost no one notices its light, which can feel frustrating. But here's the difference. A man's candle burns for much longer, and its flame grows stronger with time. To better understand, imagine a dance competition. At the start, the women take the stage and capture all the attention. They captivate the audience and seem to dominate the performance. Meanwhile, the men are backstage, training, learning the steps, and preparing. But when their moment to perform arrives, they amaze everyone. They bring more energy, skill, and shine far brighter because they've spent years preparing. This doesn't mean that women's lives are worse or better than men's, just different. While women shine earlier, men have the time to build a light that lasts longer. And the best part? For men, it doesn't matter if you've made a lot of mistakes early on or took a long time to learn the right steps. There's always time to improve, grow, and make your light shine brightly. So, if you feel like you're behind or that your life hasn't truly started yet, remember, your candle is burning at its own pace. And when it reaches its peak, it will be impossible not to notice the strength and brilliance you've built over time. Have you heard about this perspective before? Did you know these details? Share your opinion in the comments. I'll be there to help answer and discuss. Fourth topic, men's value has no expiration date. Think of a fresh fruit. It starts out beautiful, colorful, and sweet, but it has a limited time before it loses its quality. For many women, this is how society views their value. Something that peaks during youth but starts to fade over time, especially as they reach their 30s. That's why it's common to see women feeling pressured in this phase of life, trying to make the most of their prime years before time catches up. Now, imagine something entirely different, a bottle of wine. When it's stored and cared for properly, it doesn't just retain its value, it gets better with time. This is the case for men. A man's value doesn't have an expiration date because it is built through effort, patience, and learning. As he matures, his value grows. Let's picture a marketplace. At the start of the day, the fresh fruits grab everyone's attention. They're vibrant, and everyone wants to buy them. Meanwhile, the wine sits quietly on the shelf, overlooked. But as time passes, the fruits begin to wilt, and those that shone early lose their appeal. Meanwhile, the wine continues to improve, becoming something rare and much more appreciated. For men, time isn't an enemy but an ally. Even if you make mistakes in your 20s or 30s, they don't define who you will become. If you keep working hard and learning, your value will continue to grow, opening up opportunities you never imagined. So, don't despair or feel envious when life seems easier for young women. Remember, you are like wine. The more time and effort you invest in yourself, the better you'll become. And when your time to shine arrives, your value will be solid, respected, and enduring. Fifth topic, mistakes from the past are not the end for men. Do you agree that life is like a board game? During the game, you might make mistakes, fall into traps, or miss an important move. For some, these errors feel like the end of the world. But in the game of life, especially for men, the rules are different. There's always a chance to start over and turn things around, no matter how many times you've stumbled. Let's think about the story of a young man who, in his 20s, felt lost. He made poor choices, had bad habits, and believed he would never achieve his dreams. It was as if he were stuck on a road full of potholes, unsure of which way to go. But one day, he realized something powerful. As long as he was alive, he had time to change direction. And that's exactly what he did. He started slowly. First, he let go of the habits that were holding him back, like spending hours gaming or complaining about life. Then, he began investing in himself. He read books, learned new skills, joined a gym, and started taking control of his future. At first, the results were almost invisible, but he kept going. By the time he reached 30, something incredible happened. All those small changes began to turn into major achievements. Now, think about this. For a man, mistakes from the past are not the end. They're like stones on a path that can be used to build something greater. Of course, the sooner you start improving, the better. But even if you realize this later in life, there's still time to transform your journey. Whether at 30, 35, or even 40, your game is far from over. The secret is simple. You need to learn from your mistakes instead of letting them define you. If you've fallen, get back up. If you've lost time, make it up. Because as long as you're willing to fight and improve, there will always be another chance to win the game and achieve everything you desire. Now, before we move on to the sixth topic, I noticed you haven't liked this video yet. Your like is really important for YouTube to continue recommending our content so we can keep helping you. So, hit that like button. It's free. Thanks. Sixth topic, the difference between the peak of women and men. Let's think about two different races. One is a sprint, fast and intense, while the other is a marathon, requiring patience, preparation, and endurance. These two races represent the difference between the peak of women and men. For women, life begins like a 100-meter dash. Early on, they have the youth and beauty that society values. But, as with any sprint, their peak is intense but short-lived. For men, life is more like a marathon. It starts slow, with little attention, but over time, they gain strength and reach their peak when others are already slowing down. Imagine a young woman in the prime of her youth. She walks into a party and immediately captures everyone's attention. She doesn't need to try hard. Her presence alone opens doors and creates opportunities. Now, picture a young man at the same event. He's there, but no one notices him. He doesn't have money, status, or the skills to stand out. It's frustrating, but here's the secret. While her peak is happening now, his is still on the way. What many men don't realize is that the male peak happens later for an important reason. It needs to be built. A man's value doesn't come solely from his appearance or youth. It comes from experience, achievements, and the effort he puts into his life. And here's the amazing part. This peak can last much longer. While a woman might feel like her shine has faded by 30, a successful man could just be entering his best phase. So, if you feel like you're falling behind, remember, your race is a marathon. Use the time to prepare, improve, and build the life you want. Because when you finally reach your peak, it will feel like crossing the finish line with the certainty that all the effort was worth it. Have you heard about this perspective before? Did you know these details? Share your thoughts in the comments. I'll be there to help discuss and exchange ideas. Seventh topic. The reward comes to those who work hard in their 20s. For example, imagine you're planting a tree. In the first few years, it doesn't seem like much, just a small stem and a few leaves. You water it, fertilize it, and wait, but it feels like nothing is happening. Meanwhile, you look around and see flowers that grow quickly and catch everyone's attention. You might even feel a twinge of envy. But the secret of your tree is that, while it seems small on the outside, its roots are growing strong and deep. When the right time comes, it will become something magnificent, while the flowers, as beautiful as they are, will wither over time. This is how life works for men in their 20s. This is the time when you're planting the seeds of your future. Often, It feels like everyone else is moving ahead, especially women, who tend to receive more attention and opportunities at this stage. But what you're building during these years will support your success in the future. Now, imagine two young men. One spends all his time playing video games, partying, and living only in the moment, while the other chooses to invest in himself. He starts studying, learning about finances, taking care of his body, and building skills. By the time they're 25, the difference between them might not seem huge. But by 30, the one who dedicated his time to personal growth will be reaping the rewards. He'll have more opportunities, more confidence, and be much closer to living the life he's always dreamed of. If you're in your 20s, the message is clear. This is the time to plant. Invest in what truly matters, even if the results don't show up immediately. Work hard, learn, experiment, and build a solid foundation. Because when the right time comes, your tree will be so strong and majestic that no one will be able to ignore it. While others worry about what's withering, you'll be enjoying the fruits of your hard work with pride. 8th topic, the magic of your 30s, the beginning of a man's peak. Now, think about a chef preparing a special dish. In the first few minutes, he's just gathering ingredients, chopping, stirring, adjusting the heat. From the outside, someone might think, this isn't going anywhere. But with patience and dedication, he transforms each ingredient into something spectacular. When the dish is finally served, everyone is amazed by the result. That's exactly what happens to men as they enter their 30s. Up until your 30s, you're in the preparation phase. You're likely still figuring out who you are, making mistakes, and stumbling along the way. That's normal. This phase can be frustrating because the world isn't applauding you yet. But do you know what's incredible? When you reach your 30s, everything you've worked on starts to come together, like magic. Think of a man who spent his 20s learning a trade, taking care of his health, improving his finances, and developing his confidence. By 30, he's no longer the rookie everyone overlooked. He becomes the experienced professional, the dependable friend, and even the partner many women start to admire. His strength, wisdom, and stability begin to shine. And that's when life gets truly exciting. The 30s mark the beginning of a man's peak because it's when energy meets maturity. Your mind is clearer, your skills more refined, and your goals start to feel more achievable. While many people complain about getting older, you'll realize you're stepping into the best phase of your life. So, if you're at this age, celebrate. And if you're not there yet, use your years before 30 to lay the groundwork. Because when this magic happens, you won't just be ready to seize opportunities. You'll be ready to create the life you've always dreamed of. This is your moment to shine. 9th topic, the beauty of maturity, the value of men in their 30s and beyond. I often say we are like wine. At first, being a new bottle seems exciting, full of energy and youth. But as time goes by, wine requires care and patience to mature. The early years pass quickly, but it's when the wine gets older that its true complexity and flavor begin to reveal themselves. It doesn't lose its charm. It becomes even more valuable. And when you finally open that bottle, the taste is something you could never experience before. This is what happens to men as they age. In your 30s, you start to realize that as time goes on, you gain something money can't buy: wisdom. At 30, people begin to see you differently. They notice you have something that younger men lack: confidence built over the years, wisdom gained through mistakes and victories, and the stability that only comes with experience. If you think about it, this happens naturally. By the time a man reaches his 30s, he's no longer just at the beginning of his journey. He has already started building a solid life, made some tough choices, learned how to face challenges, and in many cases, managed to overcome difficulties with perseverance. These are the qualities that make a man even more attractive. Imagine a 35-year-old man, successful in his career, healthy, and with a strong social circle. He has a clear vision of what he wants in life, knows how to handle relationships, business, and life in general. Beside him, a young woman may have the beauty of youth, but she might not have the same clarity and vision he does. The combination of experience and stability in a mature man becomes something irresistible. Therefore, the beauty of maturing as a man is not just about what you've achieved or how you present yourself physically. It's in the respect you've earned, the lessons you've learned, and the confidence you exude. In your 30s and beyond, you start to realize that life is not a race against time, but a marathon where every step, no matter how slow, is worthwhile. The more you mature, the more you understand that value lies not in speed but in depth. And that, my friend, is what truly makes you shine. 10th topic, the patience of evolution, how self-awareness and hard work shape a man. Imagine a sculptor standing before a block of stone. At first, the stone is rough, shapeless, and lifeless. The task seems impossible and the outcome uncertain. But with each strike of the hammer, the sculptor begins to shape and form the stone. Sometimes he makes mistakes, sometimes he steps back to reassess. But with every movement, the sculpture takes shape, gaining life. It's not an overnight process, but slowly, the masterpiece emerges. This is the journey of a man. When you're young, hard work and self-improvement might feel distant. Everything seems complicated, and often, you feel directionless, like that rough block of stone. But over time, as you work on yourself, your health, career, and emotional intelligence, you start to transform. What once seemed difficult and formless becomes clearer and more structured. Like the sculptor, you become the master of your own creation. The most important thing is to understand that this process of self-discovery and evolution has no rush. It is constant but not linear. You might take one step forward and at times, 2 steps back. But the key is to keep working on yourself. A man's value is not something he acquires instantly. It's something built over time, with patience and persistence. And when you look back after years of hard work, you'll realize that all that rough stone you carried has now become something valuable. Your flaws and mistakes are no longer a burden. They're the tools that helped you carve the best version of yourself. Unlike youth, which can be more unstable and unpredictable, a man who dedicates himself becomes stronger, more confident, and wiser over time. The beauty of it all is that, contrary to popular belief, the process of becoming a man of value never ends. There is no expiration date for a man to become who he is. At 30, 40, 50, and beyond, you can continue evolving, learning, and refining yourself. Each phase of life brings a new opportunity to sculpt more of your own masterpiece. So, be patient with your journey. The work you do today in your life, your choices, and your behavior is creating a man who will be admired, respected, and most importantly, who respects himself. Like the sculptor, you hold the power to shape your life. And believe me, the more you dedicate yourself, the clearer it becomes that you're creating something extraordinary. Conclusion for reflection. So, my friend, now that you understand this entire journey, here's the most important takeaway: time. When we think about men and women, it seems like they're running the same race, right? But the truth is, each has their own clock. While women shine earlier, with youth and beauty as their greatest strengths, men have a different clock. His starts to show its best only after 30, when he's been through ups and downs, learned from his mistakes, and grown stronger. It's not about getting there first. It's about knowing how to play the game of life. Men have the advantage of maturing, improving, and achieving the things that truly matter. So, if you're young and feel like you haven't achieved everything you want yet, don't worry. Your time will come. The secret is to never stop working, learning, and improving yourself. Every day of effort is worth it, and before you know it, you'll be reaping the fruits of your dedication. Stronger, wiser, and better prepared to live the best version of your life. That's the key difference. The timing in men's and women's lives isn't the same, and that's not a disadvantage. It's an opportunity. Your best phase is ahead of you, and believe me, with patience and perseverance, you'll get there. Now, just keep walking the path with confidence, because the story you want to write is being created with every step you take. Thank you for watching until the end. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel to keep receiving the latest content. Big hug.